Hello, this is Cho of the Shiny Colors Discord, and welcome to another episode of the Shiny Review. Today we have 3 cards we need to talk about. A new Produce SSR for Kaho, Support SSR for Chiyuki, and Support SR for Meguru. Keep in mind, of course, that Kaho and Chiyuki are permanent. Their banner bonus currently is that the first copy you pull of either Kaho or Chiyuki will automatically be 2 stars, meaning you'll need 3 total copies to max out the card, which is very nice. So if that's an incentive enough for you, alongside the stamp system, then definitely give it a shot. Otherwise, I think the banner is mostly okay, but let's get into it. Starting things off, we have Kaho. Rounding out the SSR6 series for Hokura, Kaho is a dance vocal unit that functions very similarly to Choco 6, the card that precedes her. Keeping up with the recently implemented duet mechanic, Kaho hits incredibly hard when you factor in her link appeals, while also supplying a random Hokura token for a hopeful turn 4 link, or even turn 3 if Choco 6 cooperates. She has a solid memory appeal and reasonable passives, but can be a bit conflicting to use. Kaho 6 runs into the issue of being not quite good enough to replace Kaho 5 in a vocal team, and debatably less useful than Kaho 4 for a dance team. While I think dance is the better home for her, she doesn't quite pair up with cards like Choco 3 as easily, so Kaho 6 acts as a bit of a springboard until you can find her limited cards. She's very good among the permanent SSR selection, so she'll be a fantastic reroll card going forward for Hokura. Her roles are Center, Attacker, Buffer, Attention Up, and Duet, and I moderately recommend pulling for Kaho. She is a permanent, so she may come home in the future. Kaho's initial skill is a Dance 3.0 appeal that raises your vocal and dance by 20% for 4 turns, and applies the duet mechanic with Hokura. This links into a Dance 3.0 appeal. Her 3-star skill is a Vocal 4.0 appeal that raises your vocal and dance by 30% for 4 turns, duets with Hokura, and links into a Vocal 3.0 appeal. Kaho's 1-star passive is a Vocal Dance 30% up and Attention 15% up as long as the turn count is 4 or earlier. This has a 20% chance to activate twice. Her 2-star passive is a Vocal and Dance 65% up and Attention 30% up that requires an active Attention Up buff. This has a 20% chance to activate twice. She also gets a second 2-star passive, a Dance 40% up that requires the turn count to be 3 or later. This has a 20% chance to activate twice, and she also gets a plus 50 Dance uncap at 2 stars. For 3 stars, she gets a combined Vocal Dance 100 uncap, and 4 stars unlocks a Vocal 150 uncap. Her memory appeal once maxed out is a Vocal 2.0 that links into a Vocal maximum 3.5 appeal that scales based on how high your attention is. For the support recommendations, I bet you these look pretty familiar. The Dance Hokura still run more or less the same supports, though of course now you can use Band Choco or Maid Sakuramochi Choco as alternatives. For the sake of utilizing Rinzai, Band Choco may be best. Vocal Hokura has not changed since the last review, so everything here more or less stands, with Band Choco being more necessary as Choco lacks a particularly good vocal support. We also need to find vocal tokens, so cards like Fuyuko or Kiriko become much more important for this particular build. As for the team recommendations, Vocal Hokura can slightly adjust towards Kaho 6 as a center if you want Natsuha 6 to focus on damage. You can also alternatively run Choco 6 over Choco 5, but Choco 5 is generally the much better card for Vocal. Beef up, and hopefully let it rip on turn 4. The other team is Dance Hokura, who can now properly function as we can use Choco 3 as center and let Kaho set up with Duet while buffing up the dance stat. Again, a turn 4 link appeal is best here, and with Choco 3 it becomes a fair bit more threatening. Kind of an interesting build overall. Overall, Kaho as a center earns an S. Kaho's memory appeal is actually quite good if you can buff up properly beforehand. A well-timed Rinzai 4 buff or Natsuha 6 buff can make this feel incredibly beefy, which is ideally what you want nowadays. While you won't be using this memory appeal in an ideal Vocal Hokura, being able to use it at all is a nice bonus if you lack Kaho 5. As a unit, A- to S+. The biggest problem, of course, is that Kaho 6 competes with 2 very good Produce SSRs on 2 different teams, like Choco. And like Choco, it's very hard to win either of those battles. If you pretend that Kaho 4 and 5 don't exist, she's actually a very solid card that helps Hokura a fair bit. Outside of this, she becomes a bit lackluster due to how important Kaho 5 is for Vocal, and how easy Kaho 4 works in Dance. Still good, but if you've invested in those previous cards already, it's a little rough. Next up we have Chiyuki. Surprise! It's Chiyuki's first permanent support SSR since the beginning of the game. It has been almost 3.5 years now. In fact, it's been over 3.5 years since Chiyuki got a support SSR that is permanent. And we finally have a new one. Thankfully, latest Chiyuki doesn't disappoint, bringing a hefty amount of visual SP, a much better amount of room mastery compared to previous cards, and comes with a nice assortment of visual passives. Her 4-star appeal is frankly real good for any wing run, and might even be good filler on a visual Alstroemeria team depending. She's a great permanent SSR all around, and breaks Chiyuki's bad support luck streak. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Rest Boost, and Stamina support, and she comes with 3 unique support skills: Visual Mastery SP reaching plus 14 at level 75, Room Mastery reaching plus 6 at level 80, and Unit Mastery Visual reaching plus 6 at level 70. Her support appeal does scale, starting at a visual 2.5, working its way to a 2.6 with a mental 3% heal at level 60, and capping at a visual 2.8 appeal that heals you by 15% at level 80. Her TFD idea is Vocal, her Insight token for Grad is Vocal, and her proficiencies and landing point are Vocal and Visual. Chiyuki's 1-star passive is a visual 30% up that requires you to be in the visual position. This has a 20% chance to activate once. Her 2-star passive is a visual 65% up that requires your mental to be 49% or higher and the turn count to be 2 or later. This has a 20% chance to activate twice. Her 3-star uncap is a visual plus 100, and her 4-star appeal is a visual maximum 3.8 that scales based on how high your mental is, and also applies a 5% mental regen for 2 turns. Her event passive is a visual 30% up that requires the turn count to be 2 or later, and it has a 20% chance to activate twice. Chiyuki earns an S+. This is another very easy pick for visual teams that need a filler support that can provide. If your team does not focus on low mental but prefers a faster playstyle, Chiyuki fits like a glove with her passives, and her mastery should make earning skills a breeze. I moderately to highly recommend pulling for Chiyuki. She is a perm, so you may find her later, but again, the benefit of this banner is nice, and she's overall a great card. Wrapping things up, we have Meguru. Meguru's latest support SR is a little confusing, all things considered. She's a vocal support that is heavily invested into dance with her masteries and all of her tokens from the major game modes. Her passives are particularly weak, but for being an event SR, the appeal is not half bad. I'm sure that a Meguru-centric support is bound to have a good story, but as a card, incredibly forgettable, and you only farm it because Producer's Cup is happening right now. Though it should be wrapping up later today, as of the time of this recording. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Promise Recovery, Rest Boost, and Trouble Guard, and her unique support skill is Dance Mastery Dance, reaching plus 5 at level 65. Her TFD idea, Insight token for Grad, and Proficiency and Landing Point are all in Dance. Meguru's 1-star passive is a vocal 12% up that requires you to be in the vocal position. This is a 30% chance to activate once. Her 2-star passive is a vocal 20% up and dance visual 5% up that requires the turn count to be 3 or later. This has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 3-star uncap is a plus 50 to vocal, and her 4-star appeal is a vocal 2.5 that raises your dance and visual by 20% for 3 turns. Her event passive is a vocal 8% up that requires Meguru on your team, and it has a 30% chance to activate twice. Meguru gets a C-. Again, a very forgettable support. Her 4-star appeal is pretty reasonable for a freebie, but I don't particularly believe in this Meguru being a game changer for even a beginner account on most marks. Conflicting mastery setup with the stat you're building lends to Meguru being not particularly great. You might as well farm for Meguru while she's here. And that will do it for the video today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to like the video and share it around to let other people know what we're doing here on the channel. Next time we'll be talking about whatever banner comes next, so let's look forward to it together. I've been Cho, thanks for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day.